please stay to the end. We think it's kind of funny each time we do these intros. But other than that, Self Care Boulevard. We'll see y'all. Peace. All right, y'all. We back with another episode of the Boulevard LIB edition. We still focusing on health. I'm here with the number one main lady. You already know who she is. Don't even try and disrespect her on, you know what I'm saying? Don't even do that, B. And then I'm here with the main baby. You already know who she is. No need for introductions. You know what I'm saying? Let's make this happen. You ready, G?
Yes, I'm ready, G.
All right, let's do it.
So, hi, y'all. We are. But first of all, I know we may have said that the last episode or two, but we do have even more fancier or rather better audio equipment now. For reasons including one of us getting really into recording outside of this podcast. So if let us know if this sounds better to you than the other ones that you've heard. Anywho, today we'll wrap up health, and this is actually getting into a little bit more of like quote unquote sensitive as like questions that I would think maybe not the first conversation, but definitely something that I will will recommend you consider talking about before things get real serious, right?
3 to 6 months.
Yeah, like really before you start like planning your family together and whatnot. And one of those things is, do you have any chronic conditions, right? Don't fall, baby. So
Messiah, we're trying to worry about
making sure she doesn't
making
fall.
sure she doesn't fall because this floor is not soft.
No, it is not. But anywho, so asking the question like, do you have any chronic condition, going both way? Because if you do, it doesn't, depending on what it is, it's not a matter of because depending on who you are, like most of us have some type of chronic condition. For me, it's back pain, and I've been dealing with this since I was a teenager. Jason has his allergies and like asthma and things like that. Not to give away a health history, but these are just things that.
Just to give examples.
Right, just to give example. These are just things that they're mild and they're pretty common.
Messiah, don't eat that.
C'est quoi ça? C'est quoi ça?
Don't eat the baby Vaseline.
Oh.
No.
Viens, reviens.
Mess with the little teddy bear over there. I'm telling y'all, this is going to be the real
We're really
parent
trying
episode.
to record while she's up, and she's walking now and climbing stairs and giving a little bit of attitude. So it's like
don't run away where we can't see you.
We're in the thick of it now. We're in the thick of it.
No.
She's like, let me go over there.
Hold on. Messiah.
Viens prendre.
Messiah.
Viens prendre. Tu veux jouer avec ça?
Come on.
Okay. So anywho, so chronic conditions, right? You really want to think about that because it really it affects depending on what it is, what you can expect, how you can expect to make space for that person in your life, right? Because depending on what it is, if they're having flare up, you're gonna need to give them space to nurse them back to health, right? Because even though I just mentioned, just as my analogies, there are moments where it really flares up, and I just know he needs a few days for his immune system to get back to noticing that the pollens are not Satan, and then you have that combined with any URI, forget about it. Same thing for me. My back pain is pretty simple stuff, generally nothing, but sometimes I do have pretty bad flare up wherein he has to take a bigger load and do things that I normally would do, and I'm in bed or try to rest and heating pads for like a couple of days. So it's nothing major, but it's something you do want to let your partner know, and something you do want to inquire about and share what it is on your side, just so everybody is aware of how to support each other. Now, in that same realm of chronic condition, you do.
What I'll also say in terms of that, if you're allergic to something, I know it's minor, but make sure you let them know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, for example, I'm allergic to Bactrim, right? I only had it once, but that was back when I was a baby, and it broke me out, had hives, all that other stuff. But that does fall into the chronic category because some people be like, oh, I told you about this and that and that and that. Yeah, but you didn't tell me you were allergic to air and water.
Yeah.
That's
And
important.
especially with him being with me, sometime when he's having his URIs, I'm like, hey, let me get him some medication as a healthcare provider. So it is definitely important for me to know that. So I don't end up saying, hey, yeah, here is a Bactrim for, something you're dealing with, and I end up killing you. But yeah, just
That
share
wouldn't
that
be fun.
information. That
Don't
would not
kill
be
me.
fun. I do not want to kill you. I promise. I promise.
All right.
Yeah, and then not extending outside of yourself, family, right? Anything runs in the family, and that
You're aware of.
yeah, that you are aware of, and that can be something as simple as, hey, there's some eczema that runs in the family, to, hey, there's mental health that runs in the family. My uncle or dad or auntie or whatever have, mental health issues, whether that's depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, or on the other side, substance abuse that, your parents had or your aunties have. Those things play a role into how, number one, what precautions as yourself you should take or should consider taking, and also how your partner can nudge you almost in the right direction if you were to be a little bit, less cautious in certain situations. And so, or really watch out to say, hey, normally if my partner didn't have that history of mental health, family history of mental health problems, or family history of substance abuse, yeah, maybe I'm not gonna have any big issues with them getting drunk on a regular basis, or blowing off over simple issues. But because I know that's a family history, maybe I want to talk to them about getting help a little earlier than one may seem appropriate. Come on, baby.
What I'll add to that, y'all, and I know it's intertwined. So we know that physical health, mental health, and emotional health are called kind of like the Holy Trinity, kind of like those three little circles, and you're in the middle. They all play into each other. But I think what you also have to account for is just observing different things within your person. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, hey, how quickly do they get mad? Are they, able to come back? What's their style of, hey, I need space,
Resolution.
or, no, I don't really need space, or, how do they, how do they want to be treated emotionally? You know what I'm saying? I guess that's the piece of the puzzle that you have to find out. And let me be very clear. Sometimes you don't find that out in the first, months, couple like that or whatever. Like I think, and I think me and Senna can attest to this both. You find out a lot more about your person when you move in with that person. Now I understand some of our listeners are traditionally super duper old school. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we not moving in till we get married, blah, blah, blah. Or, until we get in a serious relationship. Nasaya, do not do that. Thank you. But you have to again, in some way, shape, and form, be like, hey, how would you react in this? How would you react in that? What is your emotional state in different situations and different consequences? I think that's something that you have to account for. Even, I would say, in terms of, if there's a situation where you need to be protected, you know what I'm saying? And I know everybody has a different range on protection, and you don't need to protect me and all this different stuff. But if for whatever reason you find yourself in that situation, you got to ask yourself, you gonna run, you gonna fight? Is this a both we run and we both fight? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something.
So essentially, I see what you mean. Like, letting your partner know, hey, yes, I am strong. And that goes for both genders, all of those things, and I can handle my own. But these are certain situations in which, or certain telltale signs, like, hey, please jump in. Whatever the case is,
Right.
that may not be obvious. Like, jump in and help me out here. And that may just be social situations, or it may be physical situations and things like that. Yeah, that makes total sense. And I agree with you in that you do discover these at a much more realistic and maybe fast rate when you're living together. But like you said, for those who are not wanting to do that, I totally understand that, and that just means you have to be really intentional about getting these things on the table, having this conversation, and really living them, right? Because you stay together long enough, you will experience situations where you be like, okay, this is a situation wherein I could have applied X, Y, and Z, or I did apply X, Y, and Z, based on what you told me.
You know what I think about? I think, and this is hard sometimes, especially because a lot of times when people get in relationships, I'm not saying age makes you mature, but a lot of us are still young. You know what I'm saying? And we're still learning ourselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think if you ask the question, hey, almost like an interview, because, dating and everything is kind of like an interview to an extent.
It really is.
You know what I'm saying? But you know how they do on the interview questions, be like, oh, if you were in this situation, how would you react? You know what I'm saying?
Like, when was the last time, you had to fight, put down a conflict or resolve a conflict? And
you know what
how
I'm
did
saying?
you do it? Yeah. No, I totally get that.
I think that would be, something. Obviously, a lot of people are going to put their best foot forward and say this and that. But I think that's a good range, especially, I'll say this, if you can talk with that person's friends, if you're not living together, or their family, for example, right? Me and Sin are both, we have family, like we're not out here just sprouting from the universe. but it's different in terms of you want to know about each one of us, right? If you want to know more about me, you talk to my family. If you want to know a lot about Senna, you talk to her friends, right?
Yeah.
That's just the way it rolls.
That's just how it is.
You know what I'm saying? In terms of who that person is. So I would give that advice to someone in that situation because, again, you may be like me and you just don't have a lot of friends. It just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Or you may be like Senna and you're just not as close to your family as I am. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. So you have a lot of friends. You know what I mean?
You don't have like deep conversations with your family. Like my family and I are not as emotionally, hey, let's talk about our emotions and like our deep core values and things like that. Whereas my friends, I've had way more conversations with them, especially we're talking about like my very close knit friend, wherein they know where I stand with a lot of like, heavy topics and why I stand there, and I know the same thing about them. So that I totally like that advice, honey, about talking to your potential partner or your new partner. About friends and family and so forth.
And now y'all see how we can get one episode off one question.
Yes.
this is just how, because again, I think these are though the conversations that you need to have. I don't think you need to rush down. Excuse me. Even though some episodes are quicker than others, but if you have that connection with that person, whoever your person is, y'all will get into these questions, and y'all may just be on one question for two days. You know what I'm saying? Just like, because just like working out, y'all not gonna get it all in one day. You know what I'm saying?
What is that thing people do in college that I was not able to do? The last minute studying.
Cramming.
No, is it? No, it's not.
It's cramming. It's not cramping. Yes, little one.
Okay.
It's cramming. You're trying to stuff it all in.
Yeah, you can't cram getting to know each other. Like
at least you shouldn't. Put it that way.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because we say that, and these are questions inspired by Love is Blind, which is really a cramming of a relationship. And that's precisely where you really have to be intentional, right? Because in a situation outside of LIB, you have the time to go on dates and take time to discover each other and things like that. But if you're not doing that, well, you should do that regardless. But if you were to find yourself in an LIB situation, or you're like, hey, I really just want to get these things out of the way. Okay. Or you're like, I really want to get these things out of the way. Then these are some of the questions to ponder on, right?
Exactly.
Some of the last things, and I'm gonna see make this happen is, again, well, we're closing this with quote unquote rather more sensitive topic, and that is STI, right? I want to say STD because we're like, oh my gosh, it's STI, and I'm well aware of that. Regardless, we're all talking about the same thing, right? Sexually transmitted disease or sexually transmitted infection. You really want to have that conversation about, do you have any, and
Or
what
have
is
you had any?
right, and what is it, right? I mean, this is something as these things range. Yes, baby. C'est quoi? C'est quoi? Ça va? Ça va? Okay, so these things range, right? So what you may feel about somebody having had chlamydia or gonorrhea and getting it treated is a keyword there, versus somebody having been infected with HPV, which again, there's no treatment for that. But it's not something that is like life altering, so to speak. Versus something like HIV, right? And so there are really levels to this. So everything, all of those are, by the way, are in the STI group. And you really have to have that conversation. Have you had it? And if you have, what was it? Was it treated? And then based on what it was, is it something that will now affect our physical intimacy? And for yourself, even if it's something that was treated, you really have to take that into. And then on top of that, this is just my personal thing, is when was the last time you had an STI test, right? Like, if you, and this such conversation, I guarantee you want to have this conversation before you get in bed with them. That's just my personal thing. But again, everybody has different risk levels, but you really want to have that conversation. And the whole thing about, somebody may say, oh yeah, no, I'm very clean, or I'm a virgin, or whatever. Nowadays, you can say anything right about, and not that you don't trust your partner, but I'm just of the mind of, hey, regardless of what your status is, whether you've been with 1,000 people or with none, it shouldn't matter, or it shouldn't prevent you or give you a reason to say, hey, I don't want to do this STI testing together, right? Because that just means you're clean, right? If once we see it on paper, then we are good. It's simple.
I think another aspect,
yes,
in terms of STI and STDs, that again isn't necessarily dependent upon lifestyle, but can be a factor of your lifestyle, is, are you bisexual? Are you having relations with different people outside of us? You know what I'm saying? Outside of what we're doing, because again, that does play into that conversation, and that's something that your person should know about. Again, if y'all both are on the same team, or doing what y'all do, then y'all know what y'all do.
Yeah, if y'all both like we're just early and we're both dating other people, then
yeah, you know what I'm saying. Or as I said, if y'all both know, hey, we're both bisexual, or we both out here just running through the streets, then hey, make it happen. Do what you do.
We just run through each other when we run through each other.
Right. But if you know that you're getting to that point of, hey, we're getting serious, we're talking about marriage or whatever, and we got to decide, is this going to be a part of our, committed relationship, part of our marriage? If not, then y'all definitely need to have that conversation about, your STIs and STDs. Look, our generation of STDs. So
I know. And it's so funny, even as a healthcare professional, I'm like, it's been STD for like as long as I know A from B. Exactly. And so, like, I know it's STI now, but, forgive me if you still hear me say STD. But anyway, so, that's that. I think we'll close it up with something lighter, some lighter things is, do you do preventative care? Like, especially if you're in the 30s or so forth, getting your blood pressure check every now and then, seeing your primary care provider, doing your eye check, getting your teeth check, These are things that some people take seriously, and these are things that some people never do. it doesn't say anything heavy about you as your personality or anything, but it is something that I think you should inquire about and ask the other person why they do or don't, and just keep it
What
light.
I always say is, if you don't, what alternatives are you using to contradict going to see
Needing okay.
that kind of service? Because again, some people some people just got amazing immune systems. That's just what it is. Some people be like, yo, and I do mean this, and this is what I said. There's a emotional, mental, and physical connection. Some people, they like, yo, I can dance and I'm feeling all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can dance the cold away. I can dance whatever flu, whatever. Some people is diet. You know what I'm saying? Again, we know that's it's always been a big thing in our community. And when I say our community, I'm talking about the African diaspora as a whole. You know what I'm saying? In terms of eating raw, eating vegetables or vegetables, depending on where you're from. Or just fruits. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's always kind of been a thing. Or, just saying, hey, I'm super plant-based. Tofu, soy.
That's funny. That was one of my other questions, is if you follow any, like, specific diet, like vegetarian or veganism or what is it?
Pescatarian.
It sounds like a religion. I
it
swear.
It is. It's a region of Christianity. Presbyterian.
What's
You're thinking
the other
about
one?
Presbyterians.
I'm thinking about Presbyterian.
And I'm sure there's some pescatarian Presbyterians.
I'm sure that.
Say that 10 times fast. When I'm down to
what is it?
It's Presbyterian. Is the religion, or not the religion, but the branch of Christianity is Presbyterian.
Okay.
But if you're a pescatarian, you eat fish mostly, if not only, right?
Okay.
Like, that's your main source of. I don't consider fish meat, but I know some people do. That's just the old man in me.
No, that's your head of seafood.
No,
don't blame it on our old man.
That's called being from the Midwest.
No, that's called be you and hating seafood.
I told you, I ain't got no problem with seafood.
Yes,
it's
you
just
do.
not the top of my list.
No, you can't say you ain't got no problem.
Mr.
It's
Chris.
like somebody said, listen, I ain't got no problem about those blacks over there.
Look, I'm not to be racist, okay?
Not to be racist or anything, but them blacks over there looking like crusty little bit.
Look, I ain't got no problem with
whenever you start with, I ain't got no problem with
Mr. Krabs. I ain't got no problem with Larry the Lobster. I ain't got no problem with shrimp and all the other things around here.
You know how many times I don't ask you, you want some shrimp? Nah, I'm straight.
I said I don't have a problem. Does not mean it's my number one option.
It's not your number two or your number three or
I'm
your
not about
number
to
four.
pick it up in the food draft.
Exactly.
Okay? All right?
Exactly. You got a problem with it.
No. Again, I have an interesting relationship.
Okay, let's call it that. Let's call it that. How about it?
We call it whatever you want, but I know what it is. Okay? All right?
Anyway, Presbyterian, Presbyterian, all the Tarians, you get the point. English is not my first language.
Like I said,
that will be my excuse till the day I die.
If you can
when
say,
I can't pronounce words.
If you can say Presbyterian, Pescatarian 10 times fast,
please say it and
drop it in the comments or something. I don't know. That's dope.
Make a video and share it on our IG or something.
Yeah,
I would love to see
dizzle.
that. I can't even say it one time. Okay, you got me beat if you can say it twice.
Oh, speaking of that, are there words that y'all can't pronounce? Because me and Senna got words we can't pronounce.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Words I know
yours.
my word. I ain't worried about my word.
What is the thing you had to do
I
before
ain't
the
gonna
thing?
say the word.
So this is a funny thing.
We gotta get to like 100 plus episodes.
We're gonna have to make another episode about this. Words we like. No, we gotta make another episode because it's getting long. But here's the thing. We're going to close it up. This is the last question we should think about, and we'll probably mention something similar. Is outdoor or indoor person? I know people like myself who will go outdoor for anything, from jogging to walking to hiking, yoga, anything. On the other hand, I know brothers who will work out from sun up to sundown, but these fools have to be indoor. My brother's like, and I'm not talking about, like, he's like, listen, I don't do outdoors. I'm like, what you mean you don't do outdoors? I see you in the gym talking about, leg day. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, that's indoors. I don't, when it's outside the door, I don't do that. And I'm like, this makes no sense. And this is so funny to me. I have this, like, perception of, like, Africans do X, Y, and Z, and the more exposed you are to other Africans, you're like, oh yeah, no, we are very heterogeneous. I think that's the wrong word to use.
Homogeneous.
No, we are hetero. Like there's a mix. There's all types of African people doing all types, because I was
Don't try to put all Africans in a box.
No, it's not that I was, but I in a way I was like, hey, a lot of Africans do things my way because I thought, the way I do things is majority stem from my Africanism, right? But then I've learned, throughout my teenage years, the more friends I made, who a majority of my friends are African, there are like a vast difference between what we do, what we eat, what we prefer, all of those things. So there is a big difference. If you know 1 or 5 Africans, you have not even begun to know what Africans are all about. Nobody has. But anyway, this guy is African, and I was of the mindset, back in my more ignorant days, of hey, because in the African culture, generally, because of the temperature and the way the way of living, the way life is lived, there's a lot of things done outside, right? So I was of the mindset that, we all love outdoor things. Nah, this brother's like, I'm good. I'm going to stay indoors. Like, whether it's AC, and I would be on this treadmill instead of going on the track. And I'm like, I don't understand you. So, just have that conversation, especially as it relates to fitness, so that if y'all were to do something together.
I would say not just fitness. I say just in terms of, what do you prefer?
Yeah.
Because 90% of the time, I'm an indoor person.
Yes, you
right?
are. Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like, my 10% is, hey, let's go travel, see something different, blah, blah, blah. I do prefer working outside if possible, in terms of working out, things like that. But I think, again, that's a conversation, and don't be afraid. And I think this is something, especially when you're new in a relationship, and sometimes older in a relationship, don't be afraid to be like, yo, I just like to do some stuff by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you come from the only child camp like I do, right? Even if you have brothers and sisters from your mom or your dad or whatever, things like that, if you majority of your life you spent by yourself, it's not surprising that you like to do things and should still do things by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if, again, and I know those of you who have brothers and sisters may have that same complex of, yo, I just want to do things by myself. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, because I've always been around my brothers and sisters and blah, 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 and I never had a peace and moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, be real.
Oh, you always want to do things with people because you've always have people around, and doing things with people is the way you prefer things. Either way, everybody needs time to themselves.
Right.
It's a matter of how much time do you need to yourself,
right?
Or
and
do you prefer to have to yourself.
And I think that's something you got to talk about because, for example, and I know it's still weird to send it, but I can spend realistically 2 days by myself and be very, very okay.
I absolutely cannot. I cannot. Let me make this clear before I go out here and change our daughter's diaper.
And it's only 2 now because I've been with her. But realistically, like back in my day,
you could have gone like a whole month just like watching.
I could go a month, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, just like, by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, you can call and check on me. I'll pick up. Like, I'm not a in the cave hermit, but I don't need that interaction. Like, I don't need to know what's going on in the world.
This is what you need. Let me tell you exactly. Right now it's better, but back in the days, before me came into his life and brighten it up.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Before I brighten up his world, okay, this man could have been doing a repeat of this. Eating, cooking, working out, sleeping, playing video game. That's about it. Anything I missed? No. Okay. No. Okay. So.
I was working.
Yeah, like I said, working was implied, but if you're by yourself, that's what I'm saying. Outside of work, when we're talking about being with other people, I'm talking about socializing.
Oh, no, I don't need
that.
that.
That's what I'm saying. Like outside of.
But I will say that, y'all. Like, if you know who you have, or at least you're learning your person, like you're doing through these questions, if they're not a big socializer, give them that time to be like, hey, I don't socialize like that, bro. Like, and it's nothing wrong. Like, I just don't like people like that.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I'm
that's
saying?
okay. Go, and this is why people like me. If people, a lot of time people like me end up with people like him, and you know what happens? Keep on your social life, okay? Socialize. And then when you come together with him, you don't get all your most of your socializing taken care of. Okay, your friends take care of you, your socialized part, and you don't feel like he's not fulfilling his duty by being all up on you. You're like, okay, all right, fine, I'll give you space because guess what? I have my friends to take care of me and talk to me about everything and anything under the sun.
And you know what'll happen a lot of times if you give us space, people space, we'll come back to
Oh,
you.
I know this.
That's the big thing. Like, I think people who, you know, again, enjoy the company of others and their partner isn't necessarily the same way, think that we're being standoffish or antisocial or something like
yes.
that. And it's not the case. It's just, again, if you grew up like I grew up, right, and you're an only child, but also you're a more reserved person anyway, you're just not used to that energy of, yo, somebody's around. Oh, my God, I'm so happy to see. Like, ooh, what the hell is you doing? Get away from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
for real.
It takes us a minute to warm up to that level. But when we're there, I think the thing that I had to show Senna was, when I'm there, I'm there.
Yeah.
I can be that person. It's just, it's going to take me 6 hours to what takes you 3 minutes.
Literally. That's it. That's the perfect part right there. So we're going to end it there. We appreciate y'all. We hope y'all enjoy it. If y'all have any suggestion or thing you want us to talk about once we're done with the LIB, which we still have a few categories, let us know.
Yeah, because it's somebody nap time, too.
It is baby's nap time. Let's go change it.
All right. Love y'all. We out of here.
We out. Okay, actually, I'm going to have you do that because it's my time.
All right, y'all.
Hey.
We on the mic
Yes, we are.
with baby Saya.
Yes,
She down here
she is.
making it do what it does,
She is.
looking at us,
Yes,
asking questions.
yes.
Like, why can't I play with this?
Okay.
Let's see.
All right.